my pearl sweater. I'm knitting these toe up, a little Kindle cozy. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish knitting the body. Let's get caught up on everything that's taken place since we last spoke. So out of what I have finished, one is what I'm wearing today. I'll insert some B-roll, but it's an oversized-ish, just a little bit raglan. I finished what I thought was all of the knitting. I blocked it, and these sleeves grew more than anything I have ever knit before. It was insane. It was crazy. I just kind of knew that I was going to have to frog back and re-knit them, and it put it on a long stall. But I absolutely love it, and I have zero regrets because it's the coziest thing I've ever worn. So yeah, that's the nitty gritty. I have about 36, almost 37 grams of the Woolfolk Snow left over and about 12 grams of the Lang Cashmere Dreams. If you're interested in the snow, I think I'm going to list it on my site as like a DESTASH, and I think I'm going to use the Cashmere Dreams as a second strand in a second sample of the Broad Street beanie that I'm working on because it's super soft and I think it'll feel really nice against my forehead. However, I don't know if this is going to be enough. The next thing I finished is one of the things I've been wanting for so long. This was on my knit list for 2023. It didn't happen, so it returned to my knit list for 2024. And she's done. Wow, she looks drunk. Okay, hold on. Is that better? This is my pearl sweater. This is a pattern by, I believe her name is Helen of Garnish Strict on Instagram. I knit this out of a one strand Woolfolk Tinned in the color 20 and one strand of the Sagar Silk Mohair in the color Mulberry. The color has a number, 36 on the silk mohair. So I knit this in a size small, I'm pretty sure. I didn't do any modifications to the size as far as stitch count. The only modifications that I made were I knit the body a little bit shorter than it suggested in the hopes of the sweater kind of falling right at the top. Like if I was wearing jeans, the sweater would end like maybe an inch above the back pockets of my jeans. You see the vibes? Like not cropped, but just long enough. And for whatever reason, I knit it to that exact length. So we all know sweaters grow with blocking. Of course, it's no longer that size. However, I'll put some B-roll. It came out absolutely perfect. I love everything about the way this one came out, and I'm so happy I did, or I do, because I had been wanting it for so long that sometimes, you know, it puts too much pressure and then you just end up disappointed. But no, not the case with this one. It is 1x1 broken rib. It's super dark, so you can barely tell, but you can tell that this is not 1x1 regular rib. You know what I mean? It sits a lot flatter and it looks like it just has a texture to it, although it doesn't scream broken rib because the color is so dark and the mohair is so fluffy. This stuff is so fluffy. It really takes over like anything you hold it with. I don't know what mohair animals they're using to make that, but it is the fluffiest mohair I've ever used. And after blocking, I do find that it's tolerable to wear as far as itch factor. I don't even know if I should call it sensitive. I just have no tolerance for itchiness. I just don't like it. I'm not going to break out in hives or like be allergic or start sneezing. I just don't like it. It's not something I want to endure. But I had heard good things and I couldn't find my dream color in any cashmere. Because I will say, alpaca is a scam. That stuff is 10 times itchier when you wear it, including if you block it cold water, hot water, boiling water, doesn't matter. That stuff is 10 times itchier to wear. It's crazy. And then there's cashmere, which super comfy, super cozy, no issues with whatsoever, but you have to spend an arm and a leg and a kidney for a sweater quantity. And then to not even be the perfect color, because I couldn't even find the color I wanted in a cashmere laceway, I was just like, that super duper doesn't make sense. So I settled for the mohair, hoped for the best, put a lot of positive vibes and manifestation into it, And I found that since it's so oversized and roomy, I don't have any issues. Blah, blah, blah. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm so excited about this one. You will probably see me wear it like once a month because I'm obsessed. I have 88 grams of this left, so almost 100. It comes in 50-gram hanks, so that's why it's separated. But I have 88 grams of this, and I have 23 grams of the silk mohair left, and these come in 25, so it's pretty much a full ball. Definitely gonna list these on the website for DESTASH. So the last thing I finished was something a little different. It's not a garment. What is it, right? This is a little Kindle cozy. So I made this out of the Miss Babs Yowza, and the yarn has just been sitting with me. It was something about the color that I just couldn't let go. I feel like it knits up so pretty and so gorgeous. It's the colorway Garden Party. This took about 60 grams. I knit it on 4mm needles. Kind of the same, similar construction to a toe-up sock. Judy's Magic Cast On and then Go, and then I did this little cute cast off edge with a accent braid type situation, and it's super simple. Slide in, slide out. It gives you a little bit of extra protection, but mostly it provides joy through looking at it. I made a reel on Instagram and I literally put the instructions in the reel, so you don't have to go much further than that. However, if you want the PDF version, you can also get that completely free on my website. Out of that, I have a whopping 36, almost 37 grams of this Yowza left. All this stuff is going to be listed for like $10 or less. I'm really just trying to find it a happy home. Nothing crazy. Definitely less than what I got it for. Getting into what I'm working on, I am so close to being done with the Crochet sweater man for my husband. It is a bottom up basket weave sweater on 5.5mm needles, so it's super quick. It's literally just not done because I don't pick it up that often because it's so thick and it's hot outside, and that doesn't add up in my head. I attempted to pick up this sleeve for the first sleeve, and it doesn't tell you how to it vaguely tells you how to decrease. So it says pick up this many stitches and decrease every 6th row. It doesn't tell you where in the row. It doesn't have a chart to show you where the decreases should fall. It says decrease every 6th row. That's just been a challenge for me because, again, it's a basket weave. So you have like eyelet rows, you have all knit rows, you have knit and purl rows, and then it's changing. So one row or one like section that was knits may now be purls. So like just tell me how to decrease. I don't know. I think for this one I'm gonna have to go on Ravelry and maybe see if anyone else has complained or written a solution to this because it is mind-boggling. So help. Moving on. This is a little self-drafted t-shirt I've been working on. It is knitting for Olive Pure Silk in the colors cream, ballerina, and soft peach. And it is a saddle shoulder t-shirt knit on 3mm needles. So summer vibes. I got to this sleeve and I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I think I'm just going to go ahead and finish knitting the body before I pick it back up. And I'm going to try a slightly different sleeve construction on the other side and then try it on again and see how I feel. But so far I think it's super cute. And as you can see, knitting for Olive, I find this kind of across the board with their fingering weights or even their, yeah, just their yarns in general. They always tend to be on the lighter side. So this is fingering on 3mm needles, but it's still a little holy, just a little bit. And then we have this disaster. So this was my original camisole number 6 from I think 2021 as well. This was before I really knew how to knit. So if you know how to knit, you probably already see it. Everything's twisted. So I couldn't figure out why this was like not coming out in the right size. And didn't have the patience, didn't even frog it, just tossed it aside. So this year I was like, oh, it's summertime, it's getting warm. I'm gonna try again. Yeah, I don't think I like this pattern. I don't think I like this pattern. This is the camisole number 6 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I either have to show them or hide them. You know, they're out or they're in. This in-between situation, like the V-neck stops right here, looks very, very strange on me. It looks very, very weird. I love that it's a nice, modest option if you're into that, but when I put it on, it looks like I need to take it off. Look at this. Is this not so cute? In here, I have a sock. This I am knitting on my High Flyers in 2mm using this one-of-a-kind sock yarn that I picked up at a yarn shop called Smoky Mountain Spinnery in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. It is this blue, purple, obviously variegated type of situation, but I kind of like the way it's been almost making like single row stripes. I think that looks really cool. Like the second I saw the hank, I was like, yes, that's me. I'm knitting these toe up, shocker, on 2mm needles, and I'm kind of just freestyling to find my perfect fit. And I want it to be a balance of perfect fit and perfect construction. I do not like top-down socks. You know, do as you do. Me, I don't like to do it. And I love the fit of a heel flap and gusset, but I will never pick up all those stitches. That doesn't make sense to me. When you can knit it toe up and you don't have to pick up anything. So I don't know what got into me because I was doing a very good job for a very long time, like probably a year of not just picking up stuff as far as yarn goes, but something cracked. And I honestly think if I sat down with a therapist, they would tell me that it was stress. I picked up a lot of stuff and I've just been gathering and like, let's get into it. I picked up this True Boo. This is 100% rayon from Bamboo, and I really want someone to let me know, is rayon plastic? Is it plastic? Is it bamboo acrylic? I want to know because this stuff is so shiny. This stuff is so shiny. Do you see that? It's in the color light pink. That makes sense. And it is 220 meters for 100 grams with a suggested needle of 4mm. This stuff is super soft. I made a super chunky sweater out of like every rainbow, like not every color they sell, but every color necessary for a rainbow, all held together on like 8mm or 9mm needles, like super chunky. Again, before I knew how to knit and was knitting everything twisted. And I did like it. It's a little splitty. I feel like that's common in plant fibers. Like you see that in your silks, cottons, kind of all that stuff. It almost just comes with the territory, unfortunately. But it wasn't anything crazy that just drove me super nuts. So the plans for this is a Soho top. And I haven't cast it on yet because do I like this top? Like, do I like this? Do I like it to wear, or do I like that it's garter stitch and it looks super fast and easy and it looks like I will have a finished object in a relatively short amount of time? I don't know, but I do have the pattern. I've had the pattern for quite a long time actually, and I still have yet to cast it on because is it cute? Next, this really doesn't even make sense. I have some Eddie Bauer Adventure cotton. And this doesn't make sense for a plethora of reasons. Starting with, I don't know if this is my shade of beige. What do we think? I think the most intriguing part was like, why is Eddie Bauer making yarn? How did they get from point A to point B? I would love to know. Or is this not Eddie Bauer and somebody just ripped off their exact logo? I don't think I've seen any Eddie Bauer anything that made me think, yeah, y'all should make yarn. So I just had to try it. I got the cotton. Oh, and I completely forgot. I also got a full sweaters quantity of the Eddie Bauer Woolpaca. I believe that they were having some like crazy sale on a sale. I think I got all 5 of these for like 25 or $30. Definitely not more than 30, which is great for a sweater quantity. Of course, you can find that price range in like acrylics and maybe cotton. It's doable. You can get sweater quantities for $30, but the reason I felt like this was such a great deal is because it's 80% merino, 20% alpaca. yeah, that was really all the convincing it took for me to think that this was an important purchase that had to be done. And now I'm realizing, like, is this wool and alpaca? Because when you come to the back, and I believe this one had the same thing. This says that it's category 2 fine. The suggested crochet hook is C2 2.75 millimeters. I personally don't have all my letters memorized for a crochet hook, so I don't know if that's correct. But what I do know is US size 6 5 millimeter for knitting needles does not make sense. It's either US 6, which is 4 millimeters, or a US 8, which is 5 millimeters. So they need to kind of figure out what they were trying to say. And honestly, it should be neither of those, because how is the suggested crochet hook 2.75 millimeters, but 4 to 5, we don't know, millimeters for knitting needles? I don't think anybody really proofread this. This is fingering weight almost heavy lace. This is not 5 millimeters. It's not even 4. And then when you come over to this one, well, it's category 3, light. So they did go up a little bit. And then it says crochet hook F5, 2.25 millimeters. What? And then it says again, US 6, 5 millimeters for knitting needles. That does not make sense. That just doesn't make sense. But using my eyeballs, I think that I can knit this up on a 4 millimeter. I'm hoping that it looks pretty decent on a 4.5 millimeter, because I would love to make a Chantal sweater by Morica Knit. I've never really had to say that out loud. Here's her Instagram along with a picture of the sweater. I think this would be super cute, but yeah, I'm not 100% positive if this is going to work out, because I didn't really read too deep into this label until I got home, and then I just started questioning everything. And then to top it all off, I have this. What? I don't know. I was on TikTok. That was my first mistake. I was on TikTok. I saw someone making a hexagon cardigan out of the purple and green. She had like every color. A lot of colors of the hexagon cardigan, but like real colors. I guess brown is a real color, but like purple, yellow, green, blue. Then I go on Instagram, and one of my internet friends had made a baby blanket out of the yellow version of this. And then I got online and I saw they have a cream to what I'm hoping is this outer color. I don't know if you can tell, but it's like a ombre. So online it looked like they had a color called Vanilla Frost that went from cream into this color on the edge. And then this one goes into this color, into this brown, and for whatever reason there's a like core of this color right here that's the same throughout. It's like a strand. I don't know if that's what's holding the fluffiness together or what, but I was like, oh my gosh, sweet shop blanket. And I can have the fades going like this, right? It could be cool, it could be hideous. I have no idea, because I haven't seen that other yarn in person yet. I also have no idea, I don't own that pattern, and I haven't looked into it outside of seeing people make them to know like what needles it even calls for. I think she's holding fingering weight held double, so I feel like it's probably somewhere in the 3.5 to 4.5 millimeter range for the needles. But this calls for 6 millimeter. I think I'm just gonna go with 6, or maybe even 6.5, so that I can have a really big blanket with the same amount of effort as far as stitch count. If you made it this far, thank you so much for sticking around. I appreciate it greatly. My name's Haley. I don't even think I said that in the beginning of the video. I appreciate you so much for hanging out with me, and I will